I've got prep cars abandoned everywhere, warranty claims, staff members off. It's just been one of those horrid weeks. Evening all, welcome back to the Car UK channel, and you join me here at the Car Pitch where we're dealing budget cars under £5 the cheap end of the UK used car market. So time for another pitch update. It's been about 10 days since I did the last one, and as you can see actually around me, I'll do a quick 360, we've got quite a lot of vehicles on site, so we do need to talk about that. However, not necessarily for the right reasons, i.e. they're on sale. We've got quite a lot of cars here, unfortunately, blocking the yard up, backlogged up, because, well, we've got quite a few issues been going on. As mentioned in the title, I've got some warranty claims I've had to deal with, obviously prioritise, I'll talk to you about them later. Also, I've had to sort out sold cars that backed up, we got them out the door. I've got a staff member off, which has slowed us down a lot, which means I've had to do a bit of valeting, which I hate doing, hence why I got a valeter in the first place. And the workshop in generally has just been backed up with jobs that have just took far too long, too much time to sort out, and say it's just all had a knock-on effect and left the yard full of cars with boards in, basically awaiting prep, not being able to get them on sale. Now, that doesn't mean we haven't been selling. We have sold one or two, we sold a few. I don't say it's a great month so far, but it's okay for October. I'm not going to complain about it. I'll take what you can. But we wish we were doing a bit more, and we need to do a bit more, and we're going to try and hopefully conquer that next week, because this week, really, the rest of the week is pretty written off as well, as I'll explain later on. So anyway, let's have a look around, see what I've been buying and selling, what's come in, and I'll chat to you about what's been going on over the last 10 days. So let's crack on with the update. Right. I'll try and keep this as brief as I can, this walk round. I don't think I'll be able to do this for the next half an hour because the sun is going down. It's a bit late on in the day, but I've been trying to do this update for the last few hours whilst it's been decent light, and I've just been too hectic and not been able to manage it, I'm afraid. Let's start off with cars everywhere, what's going on, because the yard is full. Now, we have bought quite a few cars last week, because if you remember in my last update video, we have been struggling to buy cars in general. And luckily last week I had a couple of sales where I managed to get a few cars, and I'd say 50% of them I've give strong money for. The other 50% I've got a reasonable money. One or two of them may be arguably bargains. So that has temporarily filled the gap. And as we managed not to be able to prep much this week anyway, it's sort of left the yard a little bit full. Now, we haven't got a lot on sale, but we've got a lot here, as you can see. And this is the problem we've got. We've got cars everywhere I bought with boards in, literally waiting to get in the workshop and worked on. Things like this KA I've picked up last week, just got it back the other day, a little titanium one, a little £2.5 car in a very, very nice pearlescent white. Thankfully, does not need any paint because my paint man hates pearlescent cars, so luckily he hasn't got to do anything to that one. So we got that in. We also got the Viva which in as well the other week, which we've not managed to touch, which is a shame. It really doesn't need a great deal. I'm actually waiting for the one of the trim men to come and do the leather seat on it, repair it, who hasn't been. But again, that needs going on sale. We've also got this Corsa back from paint as well. I think that's had a bit of paint done. And also it needed an ABS pump. We were waiting around for that for ages. That finally turned up. That's now done. Now I need to valet it, and I've just not been able to get anywhere near it. Then we've got this, a little favourite of mine, the old 107 C1's iGoes Mark 1s. This is a facelift one. Took this in the other day as well, and I actually got that surprisingly cheap. I was quite surprised because I've been struggling to buy cars at sensible money, and then all of a sudden I managed to get this on the right side of the guide price, shall we say. So that was a rare treat for me because I needed that over the last few weeks, because I've had to pay strong money for pretty much everything. And this is an example of that. I had to give quite a bit of money for this. However, for the age of the car, it's an old template Fiat 500, what a little clean car. So I ain't surprised that I had to give literally every cent of a cap clean for this car, but it was worth it because it's a nice little 10 plate Fiat 500 in black, and it's a sport model, which is quite rare because most of them, the sort of standard models you see, the pop and the lounge with the usual beige interior, this has got a black interior and obviously half leather being the sport model. Only just arrived, done 68,000 miles, and I've actually got someone on it, hence why I've had it brought down to the site very quickly, see, because we've got quite a few cars backed up at other places we need to bring on site. So if we can get that sold tomorrow potentially, I'll be over the moon with that, because say that is a nice little car, drives really well, does need the usual sort of, how I call it, Fiat 500 bits, usually suspension items on them because they're a bit noisy and knocky, but easy to sort out. So hopefully we can do something with that tomorrow. We've also got someone who's actually going to look at that 500 interested in potentially in a Panda. She likes Pandas and 500s. So we picked this one up from the body shop. This isn't a new arrival. It's actually been in, it was in dead corner for a while. A little Panda, 14 plate, was waiting in the paint queue. Remember a few months back, I had masses of cars queued up for paint, and this was one of them. It needed quite a few bits, a couple of arches, and I think it was a wing and stuff like that. I've had all that done, so I've just literally got it back today. Hadn't been valeted inside, so we had to just do a wet vac on it. It needs more doing to it, but for now, just do a quick wet vac on it, finish it off in the morning, so at least they can see what it's like, because it was pretty dirty inside, I'll be honest. It's been stood for a month or two. So I've just shoved the old dehumidifier in there now with the heaters on, just to try and get it dry or dryish as possible for tomorrow's pending test drive on it. So we'll see how we go with that one. But if you don't want it and they pick the 500, at least we've got another car nearly enough ready to go on sale, in fairness. That probably could go on sale tomorrow. So that'd be some achievement if we manage that. Also, we've got Fiesta. So I bought this Fiesta early in the week. I did do a post on my little Facebook page, basically talking about what stuff we had in, because we had a ruck of Fiestas come in, which I'll show you around in a minute, and a few other little bits and bobs, which one or two of them you've already seen. And we did get a bit of interest off it, and we had loads of people ringing about this little 59 plate Fiesta. Very bright car, 1.2 petrol, only done 70,000 miles. Again, actually, that wasn't a dear car. I didn't nick it, but I got it a couple hundred quid cheaper than I thought I was going to pay for it, and would have willingly paid for it. So a little bit of a bonus. However, it's been spent, that extra couple hundred quid saving, so probably a good thing, because when I got it back, although it drove excellent, I did notice that the clutch was a little bit high on it, and say when I got underneath, there was a seal leaking on it as well. I just thought, no, I'm not sure about this. Anyway, took the clutch out, which was a good move because it was original and it was quite badly worn and starting to fall apart. So that would have been a costly mistake if we'd let that go out. So that's had all that done. It's all been serviced. It's had axle bushes on it. It's had suspension on the back, a few other jobs as well on the front side of it. New clutch in there. It just basically needs dent man round it, which I need to message in a minute actually, make sure he's coming tomorrow, and basically final valets and stuff like that. Anyway, long story short, we sold that literally the following morning. I could have sold it 5 times over. Always do with these Fiestas. They always hold the money really well because they're very good cars if you buy the 1.2s and 1.4s. So, you know, you can arguably get a lot newer car for less money, different make. But there's a reason for that. It's because they are very good cars. They drive excellent. They're nice things. They're popular. And if you buy the right engines, they are generally quite reliable. So that was a good result. Plenty more of them, please. I have actually got one more of these. I've got an over 59 plate one, which is up on the ramp here. However, this one, which is pretty much identical, it's another 1.2 petrol. It's another 3-door one. It's the same year. It's just the colour's probably a little bit more marmitey than the silver one, because it's like a, how can I describe it? It's probably like a mauve or purple, whatever you want to call it. You might just call it red, but it's like a dark purpley colour. I actually quite like it, but it's certainly not going to be popular as buying a black one or a silver one or a white one would be to get sold and away. However, we did take it in part exchange against a Peugeot 108. Remember the red one we had in stock? About 2,850 quid car, the cheapest Mark II 108 we've ever sold. We got that ready for a customer, put all new clutch in it, undersealed it, made it absolute mint balls for him, and he gave us this in swap, which I did give him strong money for, in fairness. And at first on the phone, when he sort of talked about it and speaking about the car, and I was like, I was unsure. But actually when he come down and showed it me, and he got me, it's like service history, got all impeccable service history of it. He's had the cam belt done, he's written down everything he's done maintenance wise. I love that, sort of an old school thing you see. I thought, sod it, we'll have it. And it drove really well, bar one thing I did mention to him, which was the steering rack, which I think was pulled up on my last MOT. Got a bit of play in it, which is dead common on the Fiestas. We put a brand new steering rack on it. In fact, you can see it on the floor down there, the old one, which needs to go back, which is strange actually, because the new steering rack it's on there somewhere. There it is, obviously. It was £80. The surcharge for the old one is £160, which would suggest I think they want that back. Right, I hope you're enjoying today's video, but before we carry on, let me talk to you quickly about the Car UK raffle. Have you got your tickets for the latest draw? Because I've got available one of the best minis potentially out there. This stunning 1995 1.3 Mini SPI. It is a out-the-box example that has been well maintained and looked after. In A1 condition, this is a Mini that you cannot miss out on. An absolute beautiful example that will make your friends and neighbours really, really jealous. Now, to get hold of this superb Mini, then you need to get yourself a ticket for the latest draw, and it is only £1 to get involved. Now, to get hold of your tickets, you can go in the link description below, and the link is there, or go in the comments section where there's a sticker note there, and you can find the link as well. Or you can use the QR code on screen now, simply scan that with a camera phone, and it'll take you through to Raffle, who host our draws on our behalf. And at the moment, we have got the bundle offers back on offer as well. So if you want to buy one ticket for £1, no problem. But if you want to buy £5 or £10, £15 or £20 worth, you'll get additional free tickets. The more tickets you buy, the more greater odds you have of winning that fantastic Mini. And also remember as well that there is an alternative cash prize. If you win the car and you don't want it, don't worry, you can get £6,000 as an alternative cash on this draw. And always remember as well, by getting involved, you also help charity out on the back of it, helping causes like Hopes and Beams, our chosen charity for this draw, who do amazing work with children in the community with disabilities, helping them get involved in sport and supporting the families in the community. Now, if you want to get involved, like I said, get yourself in that link description or use that QR code, scan that today and get hold of your tickets for the latest draw. Other car on the ramp is little Vauxhall Corsa. This is a Corsa E, 15 plate, again low mileage, I picked up last week. Nice car, does need a little bit of work doing to it. It needed a back bumper painting because unfortunately I had a split in the back bumper. We sorted that out. I think there was another bumper corner as well somewhere. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it needed doing. It's come back from the paint shop. Paint man actually turned that around really, really quick for us. Does a good turn there, which means now we've just got it back on the ramp in the last hour and we can finish off the rest of the bits. It does need, unfortunately for me, 4 brand new tyres because, well, 3 are pretty much shagged and not just going to leave 1 tyre on that's pretty worn down anyway. Probably would pass the ticket, but you know, how cheap we can replace new tyres for. Let's put a set of new boots on her. And it needs some wheels refurbing. Strangely, it's had 1 wheel refurbed and then they've not bothered with the other 3. Maybe we're saving up for it, I don't know. But anyway, that is on the ramp now, going to get finished off. Once all the usual Corsa-y things we say on them, so housings, and you've got to check the water pumps, make sure there's no leaks on them, put rocker covers on them, full covers, because they just usually fall apart by this sort of year and you don't want that happening to the customer. And we can hopefully get that boxed off and out this Saturday, because I'm going to try my best to do that, because I can do the wheels myself, because they're only diamond cut, so we can probably do them in-house, smarten them up, box that off tomorrow and get that out this Saturday. I'll be chuffed with that, because we're going to need to clear the decks out here tomorrow, or maybe not tomorrow, but Thursday, today being Tuesday, time of filming, because we finally got the ramp coming as of tomorrow morning. So remember I mentioned about doing a few improvements to the site. We put the valeting tent up and stuff like that and got some electrics in there, potentially looking at putting a little storage pod next to it, which I've not quite got round to yet. And also, the main thing was sorting this workshop out, getting things like a new 4-poster in, which is going to make things so much easier for us, because 4 posters are just so much better than 2 posters, they really are. So we've ordered that, very costly, the other week. That is finally arriving tomorrow, so we're going to fit that on Thursday, so a big day Thursday. Everyone's going to have the week of bits to assemble this 4-poster ramp, because they are bloody heavy. But once we've got that up and running, I think that is going to speed us up massively. And also it's going to help us with some other things as well. We do a lot of 4x4 work for another customer, and having a big ramp like that, it's just so much easier to put that big tackle on there and get them up in the air. However, that is going to slow us down massively over the next few days. We've got to get that assembled and up and running. So we've lost probably another 2 days there in prep time, leaving us only 1 ramp to basically get stuff out. So if I can get a few bits out this week, I'll be pleased with that, but it isn't going to help with the overall sort of situation with the site where, well, we just can't get to anything and get them prepped and get them out quick enough. Other things we've been working on with Metro, Rover 100, that is sold. We've got that fixed. We had a customer who come down, did a test drive on that, loved it. That's all paid for. That is going to get delivered back to the Midlands, where it came from, in a few days' time, so that's good news. Mini, that's moved, but not for any positive reasons. It's just because we needed space to put a big Land Rover in there. And another thing that's moved as well is the Range Rover Evoque, which I am going to do something with, and I will do a video on, but it's not ready as of yet. I've literally done nothing to it. I can't even get anywhere near it, and I need to be able to spend a good hour on that, get it on the ramp, check it all over, go for it properly. So yeah, I will get to that, hopefully. Well, it's not going to be this week, I'll be straight with you. It's going to be next week until we can get to that. I've had other things landed as well. So we've had another 108 land this morning, which I will retail. Wants a little bit of work and a little bit of paint, but we will retail that. We've sold the other 108 just a few hours ago. This is the 17 plate one. This is the Peugeot 108 on the 17, which is the one we've had for about 6 weeks in stock. It's a bit pricey, but it's the most expensive one we've ever sold, sorry. Mainly because we usually sell like the 15, 16 plate ones, because anything above 4 grand here, usually, well, this lingers a bit longer than stuff between 3 and 4 grand, which always just flies out really. But they've got a cracking car, low mileage. We've got it from MAG, and it's going off, I believe, to the Isle of Man. So yeah, that's going out next week. We've got to put a clutch in it, so we've got to sort that out. But we'll get that boxed off. Probably Monday we'll get that in and finished off, unless we get the ramps up and running by lender play Friday or Saturday. We might do it then. But it's a straightforward job, and we get that sorted and out to the customer next week. So we're trickling away on things. We're getting things done, but just not as quick as I would like. And I'm getting a bit sick of seeing awaiting prep boards in the windows. I want to get that sorted next week. Quickly get your feedback on something actually while I'm here. A couple of things actually. One is Peugeot. This Peugeot here I've had back from the paint shop. Now, I'm umming and ahhing on this one. This is a 2017 plate Peugeot 5008, and it is also automatic and diesel. And it sits in a price bracket that is not sort of accustomed to my pitch. So I deal in cars up to sort of 5 grand, mainly because when you start getting above 5 grand these days, generally people ask for finance. Not in all cases, but you get asked more for finance. So by staying under 5 grand, and this is what the sort of area and site has been renowned for selling, it just works for us. And I see, like I mentioned before, about when we only go over 4 grand, we do sell stuff, but it stays a little bit longer. So in an ideal world, you want lots of stuff between 2 and 4 grand. You don't want too much over 4, and you don't want really anything over 5. And if we do have the odd thing now and then, we're going to have to accept the fact that it could be with us potentially for a lot longer than most of our other stock, which a space is a space, and if it takes up space, it's costing you money. However, there is an upside to this car. The fact that it's a 7-seater automatic diesel with decent miles on. I think it's only done about 70,000 miles. I've had it at the paint shop because it needed a bloody good buff, and it needed a few bumper corners doing. It was, well, looked like it'd been around a car park a few times, but it's come up really well. Probably can't tell now because it's going down dark, but this comes up, it's come up like a piece of glass. I wish I had some pictures of it before to show you, because you honestly, it looked really poor condition when it first come in, very scruffy, but the paint man has minted it up for us. Still not finished, we've still got a few more bits I want to do, being a bit picky, but we're nearly there, and I just don't know, unfortunately it's not open to show you inside, we'll put it for the glass, what to do with it. The things that scare me, it's automatic, which, to be honest with you, these aren't really renowned, this sort of era for gearbox issues, to be honest. It's more the earlier ones that were a bit played. And the engine doesn't bother me because it's a 1.6 HDI. They're generally all right. And it's been well looked after. It's come from the main agents as well. So I'm like, do we do it or not? But it's going to sit at about, I think the retail on that, it's nearly 7 grand. I think it's over 7 grand. Now, that's suggested retail. I think on Auto Trader, it probably would sit somewhere reasonable around the 6 and a bit grand, 6.5 grand mark. I think that would be very competitive for it, but it still sits above our sort of price bracket. And people keep saying to me, you need to go above 5 grand. You're going to have to go above 5 grand eventually, because cars are just becoming more expensive, whether we like it or not. And I think inevitably that will happen. So is this a tester case? Because I think the Vote could come on this bracket as well. I think that's going to be over 5 grand. Do I start to get the odd car like this on? I won't go and buy 5 or 6 of them, no chance, but I might buy the odd 1 or 2. Perhaps we should start selling more cars like this, I don't know. Do I stick to the principle, keep under 5 grand, or does it really make any difference? Having the odd one, I don't think it really affects us too much. And yeah, look, let's say a car's in stock. I mean, I think our average stock for a car on sale, sorry, is probably, it's probably like 21 days, to be honest, if you averaged it. It's very low. I don't know the full number, but I'll be amazed if it's more than that. It's probably less than that, to be fair. So if a car like that was in average stock for 30 days or 45 days, but the margin is twice as much, then in reality, you actually probably are better off. But although you're making more money out of them, you've got added risk, because the more expensive a car is, if it goes wrong, the likeliability that it's going to cost you more money to fix. That's generally the rule. Not always, but generally the rule. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on that one. Should I go on with it? Should I retail it? Should I give it a go? Right, other things that have been a bit of an issue for us this week, we've had to deal with. Warranty claims. My favourite thing. I love talking about warranty claims. I hate warranty claims. I think any dealer hates a warranty claim. And you don't want a warranty claim, particularly 2, in one day, that have come from cars that have gone out the very same day. And that's exactly what happened last Saturday. So we had 2 cars go out, a Volkswagen Golf and a Skoda Superb. I think you may have seen both of them on the channel, certainly the Golf, because that was been mentioned a couple of times. Now, what happened first, Skoda Superb, that went out in the morning, chap loved it, but he only got about 6 miles in it, and he rings me up and says, it's broken down. And honestly, your heart just goes, oh no, please no. Especially when I've driven the car for probably 40 miles I've done in that vehicle, I've been home in it. I always like to go home in the cars that I'm selling, not because I'm tight what I use a fuel up, but on a serious note, it's because by going home in them, you actually iron out some faults as well that might get missed. So you could, driving around locally or taking them from some short distance and maybe around the corner from a dealer to here, you don't always find any sort of maybe underlying issues that you would do going on a longer journey. So if I can do it, I always do. I just like it. It's just my way of sort of the QC process. It puts my mind at rest. And I say I put both these cars mentioned, I'll get onto the other one in a minute, through that test and didn't give me an ounce of problem. But sadly, the Skoda jossed itself after 6 miles. Gets it back. What's wrong with it? Injector. Injector's gone down. So anyway, we managed to diagnose it and we managed to get an injector actually pretty quick. Although the first injector we had from the parts factor didn't work. Put it in, it wouldn't even code. It wouldn't do anything. It was faulty. So we had to get another one. But eventually we found an injector that fitted and it run perfectly fine. Went and test drove it again, did a fair few miles in it, no issues whatsoever. And I can say now that car's gone back to the customer and he's been some distance in it, believe me, and we've had no issues, no reports of any problems. So we think we've cured that. But obviously we'll keep our ears to the ground, make sure that he's okay with that one going forward, and he's covered under warranty anyway. But then we say we had another car to deal with, a Volkswagen Golf. The Golf got about 60, 70 miles, I think, back on its first journey to the customer's house, and he rings up, it's got a fault, engine light's on. But luckily, he actually had a scanner. So he scanned it for us and said, it's an EGR. It's coming up with EGR fault. So we had to get that back. Now, luckily for him, the car was still usable, and so he actually put a few miles on it. He used it for a few days before he could get it back to us. We get it in, but then obviously we realised that the EGRs on those that particular model that year are buried right at the back of the engine. It's a great big unit they fit on them with a big cooler on it, and they're a nightmare to get at. And as always, when you've got a car on the ramp and you need it gone as ASAP, you always get messed around some way or the other. Whether it's parts companies send you the wrong items, which they've done on 2 occasions with this car, and bolts that just will not come out, and it's just took us forever. Hence why I'm now doing a video at this time of night, because 1, I needed to do a video, and 2, I'm waiting for the car to come off the ramp in a minute so I can go home in it and make sure we've cured it before giving it back to the customer. But that has cost us time. It's cost us time where we could have had other cars queued up out there, or stuff that's not even on site queued up, getting onto the ramp, getting prepped and going on sale. But it has to be done. You have to make priorities to warranty customers, obviously, and sold customers, because they are the people who will want the stuff sorted now. So everything else goes on the back burner. And sadly, that's going to keep happening for the next few days, because with a ramp out of action, that's not going to help the situation. It's going to leave us really restricted. But on the plus note, once we've got that in, it will speed us up considerably. It will make things easier for us. And then obviously we've got a staff member coming back in a few days' time as well. So eventually we'll get going again. We'll get going and we'll probably end up finishing the month reasonably well. So yeah, it's been a tough old week, but these things happen. So yeah, it's been a bit of a tough... Carry on, Ian. So yeah, it's been a bit of a tough old week, but things will get better in the next few days, or at least that's what I keep telling myself anyway. Right, I'm going to wrap it up there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching today's update video. I do greatly appreciate it. Things we're working on, I'm doing videos on at the moment. I've got a couple of things I'm working on, just general stuff. But I'm going to do the Range Rover video. I'm going to get that out in the next few days. Hopefully get that finished for you. I am also working as well. I mentioned about a MG that I bought, a classic MG Metro, which is, well, another problem to add to all the other problems I've been facing over the last few days. That one's going to be a very interesting one. I have done some content on it. It's not quite finished yet. It's a different style of video to what we usually do, so it's a bit more more workshop based. So we just need the time to actually get it in, and between all this stuff going on, obviously, yeah, it's not going to be happening in the next few days. But I am working on it, so people will be asking about that video. It's probably going to be next week we'll get that out, but it is coming, and I've got more auction content as well coming in the next few days, hopefully as well. So make sure you check out the channel. Do appreciate it. As always, we're nearly towards the 100,000 mark. We're nearly there, and I'd like to thank you, by the way, for everybody who has already subscribed. But if you watch my content regular, you might not realise that you're not actually subscribed to the channel. And I'd love you to come on board and be a subscriber. It also means, as well, as I put new content out, you will always get notifications that it is landed. If you could just check now before you go that you have subscribed to the Car UK channel, it means a lot and can get past that 100,000 mark. So greatly appreciated. I hope you all have a fantastic week, and I'll see you all in the next one.